My husband and I began to try to conceive when I was 35, and I didn't have any concerns about getting pregnant at the time. After about a year and a half of trying, we sought out fertility specialists for some help. So in the fertility office, we discovered that my fallopian tubes were blocked. They weren't sure if one or both were blocked. I had one of the tubes removed surgically, and the doctor wanted to remove my other tube at the same time, and I requested that unless it was infected or there was some other issue that she leave it behind, because I didn't want to have zero chance of conceiving naturally, even though that's what they were telling me, that I didn't have any chance of a natural conception. I was told that IVF was my only chance of conception, so I began that process. After my surgery and the egg retrieval, I learned about the seed workshop from my doctor, who had become pregnant naturally with the help of Danica. And so I attended the workshop between the egg retrieval and my implantation. I was a bit hesitant, maybe a bit skeptical before I attended the workshop, because I was already eating really well and I felt like I knew my body very well, and I wasn't sure what I was going to learn from her in a couple of hours, but I learned a lot. The most influential part of the program for me was learning about what to eat during certain times of the month, so eating differently for every different week. Up to that point, I was eating a very cleansing and astringent diet, and I learned how to incorporate more building foods. I actually started to eat dairy for the first time in years, the raw dairy, and it made a huge difference in not only the way that I felt, but the way that I looked. I also learned how to incorporate the fertile thinking into my process, and that seemed to really shift things for me. I became pregnant through my first IVF cycle. It ended up being a very complicated pregnancy, and I ultimately lost the baby, which was quite devastating. But a few months after that happened, I began to implement what I'd learned in the Seed Live program again, and 2 months later I became pregnant naturally, which the doctors were completely shocked by, because they had told me time and time again that I wouldn't be able to. So I'm really happy that I reached out to support myself through the Seed Live program, and with Danica's help, was able to navigate the infertility process with a little more grace, and my husband and I are just so excited that we have our baby, and I tell everyone I know about the Seed program.